It was Sunday afternoon, and I was doing yard work while waiting for my wife, Margie, to return from a work seminar in Denver. She had gone to the airport with a coworker and was due back any moment. Margie was a chemist. She worked for a large pharmaceutical company. She very rarely traveled for work, but this trip she couldn't avoid. The company had been working on a weight loss pill for years, and Margie was deeply involved in the project. The company was sending everyone even remotely related to the project to Denver to brainstorm for a few days. There were rumors that a competitor was already testing a similar project. Competition is intense in the drug industry. A single patent can be worth billions, so those in power were on alert. I saw the car pull up in front of the house, and I saw Margie get out of it and head toward the house. I pulled the lawnmower into the garage and parked it. I missed Margie and really wanted to see her, or maybe not just see her. I walked into the kitchen. "Hello, traveler. How about a hug?" I asked, heading toward Margie with my arms outstretched. "I've missed your hot body." "Have a seat, Jim. We need to talk," Margie calmly stated. "We need to discuss a few things." This was not what I expected. Usually Margie would hug and kiss me after we'd been apart for a few days. She was a scientist, but as soon as her motor started running, she became a dynamo. Now she was acting like she was transmitting data or something. "What's wrong, honey?" I asked nervously. "Did I leave a mess in the kitchen? I was going to take out the trash, really. I just forgot about it, but I'll take care of it right now." "Jim, it has nothing to do with the house or what you did," Margie replied. "There's no easy way to tell you that, so I'll just tell you straight up. We need a divorce." My mouth went dry and my heart started beating like crazy. I looked at Margie to see if it was a joke, but she never joked about anything like that. She was deadly serious. Still, I had to hope. "You're kidding, right? I don't know what you're mad about, but I can make things right if you tell me what I did, Margie. I certainly don't want a divorce. I'm stunned that you're suggesting that." "What happened?" demanded I. "You're a strong, proud man, Jim. You deserve to be with someone who is loyal and faithful to you. Anything less would be unfair to you and wouldn't work. You're better off without me. Just because I love you so much, we should divorce," she concluded. "Do you realize you're talking nonsense, Margie?" "For a scientist, your logic is rather strange. If you love me so much, why don't we stay married for another 30 years? Or at least until I kick the bucket," I reasoned. "It's a good thing when a wife loves her husband, dear." "It is if she remembers how much she loves him and stays faithful to him," Margie agreed when I suddenly felt my stomach cramp. "Jim, I slept with Boyd Wilkins last night." Now I really felt bad. I knew Boyd. He worked with Margie and always seemed like a nice guy, at least before he hooked up with my wife. I was sure he was married and had kids, and they were younger than our 2 kids in college. Were they really both going to get divorced to be together? Why had I never noticed this? Had I really buried my head in the sand? Was I really the king of denial? Do you love him, Margie? Is that what this is about? You and Boyd? You're throwing me away because of him? Was the sex really that incredible? I demanded, picturing a balding and slightly pot-bellied Boyd Wilkins with some sort of super stud powers. "Actually, I don't even remember that, Jim. I definitely don't like Boyd. Just thinking about him makes me physically sick right now," Margie admitted. "However, it's done, and there's no undoing it. I woke up naked this morning with Boyd sleeping next to me, and I can tell you that, at some point, I had sex. I will not tolerate that kind of behavior from you, and I certainly won't tolerate it from myself. You deserve better, much better." "It's a little hard for me to understand you, Margie. If you don't love this guy, if he doesn't even turn you on, why did you sleep with him? Why do you want to leave me?" I asked, trying to clear up my confusion. "I don't really want to leave you, Jim. I want you to have as good a chance at happiness as possible, and that requires us to break up. You've heard that old saying, 'Once cheated, always cheated.' You can't trust me. I can't even trust myself, so we need to get a divorce," Margie declared. "Isn't that a bit drastic, at least for the moment?" I suggested. Could you explain it to me so I can at least understand your decision? Yesterday afternoon, we got together as a group to relax a bit. It was like a party to celebrate the end of 3 rather grueling days of brainstorming. It should have been called a guilt storming. We accomplished almost nothing except to agree that it was all someone else's fault. You know, I never drink unless you're with me, Jim. After a few drinks, I'm simply incapable of rational thought. I proved it again yesterday. Margie sobbed, finally losing her scientific look and letting her emotions come to the surface. We talked for hours. I don't remember when it was over or how I got to my room. When I woke up in the morning, Boyd was snoring next to me. I screamed and he woke up. Margie continued. He was even more terrified than I was. He has 3 kids in school and a wife he adores. I listened, but I was curious about Boyd. How bad does a guy feel when he wakes up next to an attractive woman? Most guys are able to handle that difficult situation. He looked at me and then at his nakedness. Then he ran to the bathroom and threw up. It wasn't very flattering, I have to admit that. I heard him crying and calling his wife's name over and over again. He's just an emotional wreck today. Maybe these real smart guys are different. Seeing a naked Margie certainly wouldn't make a man pray to the porcelain gods. What a hell of a mess she had gotten us into. I began to translate my fear of losing Margie into anger at her betrayal. Well, that's just great, Margie. You're going away without me for the first time in 2 years and some super nerd is sleeping with you. You tell me you don't remember it at all, and the next morning, the thought of me slipping you salami makes him physically ill. That's it? I asked angrily. You summed up pretty well what a fucked up mess I've made of our marriage, Jim. I take full responsibility for it. I'll be staying with my sister until I find my own place. If you want to spank me before you leave, I'm perfectly willing to do that, Margie exclaimed. I'll pack some things and leave right away. Damn it. What's a guy to do when his wife confesses to cheating and wants to punish herself as much or more than her husband? It was like the dentist in Little Shop of Horrors. How much pleasure can a sadist get from hurting a masochist? I wanted to be the one who decided she should leave. I wanted to be the outraged spouse throwing insults and curses at her for cheating. She denied me this therapy by being so brutally frank about her stupidity. I just sat at the table trying to make sense of everything that was happening. Not 10 minutes later, Margie returned with 2 suitcases. I could see that she had been crying, but she still wasn't going to give herself an indulgence. Since I've ruined the marriage, I'll move out, Jim. I won't ask for much in the divorce. I'd like half of my savings and all the mementos my family has given us over the years. You can accuse me of infidelity and I won't argue. I would ask you to think about it first, because if you do, you'll ruin Boyd's life. He probably deserves it as much as I do, but his wife and kids don't, Margie reasoned. He said he'd try to keep it from his wife and hope she'd never find out. That's a brilliant scientific mind at work. I stood up and looked into Margie's eyes. She was crying and looked terrible. She was having a hard time, too. Why did she have to do this? This is your last chance to beat the shit out of me, Jim. I've got everything ahead of me, but after today, I'm not going to let it happen. I have to start a new life tomorrow. You'd feel better if you gave me a black eye or something. I think I'd feel better, too. No woman should do such a terrible thing to a faithful, loving husband as I did to you. Damn it, Margie, I growled. I'm mad as hell, so you better not even suggest it. I feel like beating the shit out of you right now. See, there you go, Jim. You're proving my point. You're a man, not a spineless wimp who hits women regardless of provocation. You're capable of doing the right thing even under extreme stress. I screwed up the first chance I got. You deserve better, Jim. You deserve so much better, Margie concluded. I took the heavier bag from her hands, carried it to the car, and put it in the trunk. She put the second bag in, and I slammed the lid shut. Margie touched my face with her fingertips for a second. Then she got into the car and drove away, leaving me standing in the garage sobbing like a baby. I couldn't sleep for more than a few minutes at a time. I would get up before the sun and get to work almost an hour early. I was going to work because I had to do something, But the problem was that I couldn't concentrate and got almost nothing done. I came home to an empty house and my heart snapped. I'd been alone while Margie was in Denver, but it was different now. I knew she was coming back, so I was calm and content. Now that I knew Margie wasn't coming home, however, I was depressed and brooding. What had happened to my life? What the hell could I do to get it back to normal? I pondered these questions but could find no answers. Around 7 o'clock, the doorbell rang. I didn't feel like having visitors, so I decided to stay in the kitchen until whoever it was gave up and left. Then I realized how pathetic I was being and opened the door. Standing on the porch was Margie's sister, Judy. "Can I come in and get some of Margie's things?" she asked softly. "Margie didn't plan very well and forgot some clothes and toiletries she needs. Are you okay, Jim?" Judy was Margie's younger sister, and I had always liked her. We had an easy friendship. I always teased Margie that if anything happened to her, I would be at Judy's side any minute. She had never been married, although she had had several long-term relationships over the last 20 years. She must have seen me tearing up. "No, Judy, I'm not okay," I replied. "My wife, who I've been with for 24 years, goes away for 3 days and ends up in bed with some goddamn home-wrecking jerk. Then she comes home and says she's divorcing me because it's what's best for me. How the hell am I supposed to be okay?" By the time I finished my rant, tears were running down my cheeks. I felt really embarrassed and turned around and walked to the kitchen and sat down with my head on my hands, trying to come to my senses. Judy came up behind me and gently stroked my shoulders. For several minutes, we didn't speak. The clock sounded very loud while the silence lasted. Finally, Judy walked around the table and sat down across from me. "Jim, I don't know what to tell you," she began. "Margie came to me yesterday all in tears and told me she had been unfaithful to you. I thought you'd thrown her out. Then, after what seemed like an eternity had passed, I found out the whole story from her. If I hadn't known my sister, I wouldn't have believed anyone could do what she did." "Yeah, she's a piece of work," I agreed. "Is she going to be with this Boyd guy now? Is that what this is all about? Are they going to live together?" "Good God, no!" Judy exclaimed. "She quit her job today, Jim. She didn't want anything more to do with that weirdo. She doesn't have a lover or even a close male friend except you. She just feels that what she did is so horrible, so unforgivable, that she can't stay married to you. It's hard to believe, but it seems to be true. That damn Boyd is still married. He didn't confess to his wife. She's happy as a pig in shit right now. They must have had welcome home sex like I hoped," I whined. "Why did she have to rub my nose in her fucking affair? Why didn't she try to cover it up out of concern for me?" "This is getting surreal, Jim," Judy observed. "My sister cheated on you just once because she drank too much. There was no way you could have known that, but her sense of outrage at her own act was so great that she told you about it right away, and now you're resentful that she didn't keep it a secret and let you continue to think she was a faithful wife. Do you realize how strange all this is?" "What's weird about not wanting to be prying into my wife's affairs?" I demanded. "It's your damn sister who's weird, not me." "Well, from my point of view, you both seem pretty damn weird to me. She shouldn't have told you that." That's what I told her. "She should have gone home, been the best wife imaginable, and hoped you'd never find out," Judy replied. "On the other hand, you should have been glad to find out she was a cheating bitch. If you had found out 6 months later, you would have thrown her out by the ass so fast it would have made your head spin. She saved you the pain and embarrassment of that scene." "Of course she was thinking about me. That's why she slept with that egghead, isn't it?" I replied. "No, Jim. She wasn't thinking at all when she committed that horrible act. As soon as she gained the ability to think, she thought of you and what she should do for you. She's convinced that the best thing is to get herself out of your life," Judy stated. "She had too much respect for you to make you an unknowing cuckold, a man whose wife sleeps with other men and doesn't respect her husband. It's like she wants you to have the best of everything, and she doesn't think she's fit for it." "I guess she's right," I agreed. "I don't deserve a whore wife. I've always been faithful to her, even when I had to travel alone. I should have a wife who practically idolizes me. I work hard and stay sober. I put my all out to make this house the way she wanted it, and to make her and the kids comfortable. What has she repaid me for all my sweat and toil? Jim, that's pretty much what she told me. There's no dispute here. You both agree that she shouldn't have acted the way she did and that you deserve better. That's why she thinks she should divorce you. Margie thinks she ruined your life and made you spend too many years cheating on her. Damn it, Judy, I burst out. She's your sister. Why don't you try treating her more kindly? You're making her look like a slut or something. We both know that's not true. You two are the strangest pair of divorcing spouses I've ever seen, and you know it, Judy threw back at me. She won't let me speak ill of you, and now you're sticking up for her. What the hell is wrong with both of you? Just because we're civilized people doesn't make us weirdos, I pointed out. There's no reason to call the mother of my children nasty names. I don't like it, okay? What did you say about me that annoys her? Oh, the usual comforting words. I told her that she'd probably find a man who would understand her mistake and could live with it. I told her she could find a man who would treat her better, have a better income, be a better lover, and be a better golf partner in her doubles league, Judy replied. Son of a bitch. Did you tell her that? Angrily, I asked. We've won our league 2 years out of the last. Fourth. I had one of the lowest handicaps they've ever seen. Why the hell are you poisoning her with shit like that? There you go again, Judy complained. That's exactly what Margie said. She even added some bullshit about how you're a great lover and she could never find anyone better. She said you were doing a great job and providing for your family better than she could have hoped for. She even tried to tell me that you were the kindest, most loving man she'd ever known, and all the men she'd ever met paled in comparison. She said all that about me. I think she appreciates what I've done here. But she did her part, I added reluctantly. She picked out all the colors, the furniture, the flooring and wallpaper. Hell, she decorated the whole house. If it had been up to me, we'd be living in that little house on Elm Street. She was the one who knew better than to settle for less. The place is worth a good deal of money now. It's a beautiful house, Jim, Judy admitted. I thought that while Margie needs a place to stay, we could bargain a little, so to speak. What the hell are you talking about, Judy? I asked. This house is worth twice as much as yours. We sure don't want to haggle with you. You didn't let me finish my sentence, Jim, Judy replied, not the least bit embarrassed. Suppose Margie and I trade places. You've always liked me. I could move in with you. Margie could stay with me. I'd be very kind to you and loyal as an old dog. My breasts are bigger than Margie's, and over the years I've learned a few tricks on how to please a man. You won't be lonely, and Margie won't have to find an apartment or a house. Everybody wins. I just sat there looking at Judy. Could all this weird shit really be going on? Why had I never noticed that Margie's family was a sick bunch of puppies? Are you kidding me? What the hell is wrong with you? Did I say I wanted bigger breasts? Would that be okay then? Margie's breasts are so much better than yours, it's not even funny. I laughed cruelly. I'm definitely not going to give in. What's the matter with you? I think that's a good idea, Jim. Margie's been going on for hours about what a wonderful husband, friend, and lover you are. Now that you've dumped her whore ass, why don't I take her place? You have no idea how good sex with me can be, Judy bragged. You think sex is all there is to a relationship? Would you be able to raise 2 wonderful children while working full-time? Do you think you could keep the house in the same order as Margie and still make the kind of money she made? I scoffed. Hell, Margie can satisfy me in every way by making a shopping list in her head. You have no idea what she does for me in bed, so don't think you're better. No one is better than Margie. I don't understand you, Jim. That slut cheated on you. You can't trust her and you know it. She's a slut who can't keep her legs closed. Judy was practically screaming. You need a woman who will love you, who you can rely on and trust, not some slut with a piece of garbage. God damn it, I growled. Get your ass out the door before I kick you out. What the hell kind of sister are you? Margie would never say a bad word about you, and you've gotten some real boners over the years. If I ever hear you call her derogatory names again, I'll punch you in the face, and I never punch a lady. Margie had made one mistake. She'd been the perfect wife for 22 years, and one slip-up doesn't mean she's a whore or a harlot. She has more class in one finger than you have in your whole sorry body. Now get the hell out. I was furious, but even in my anger, I noticed that Judy didn't seem to be very frightened of me. I had just threatened her with physical violence, and I was furious. Judy just looked at me and nodded, as if she knew some secret about me. Perhaps I confirmed her suspicions that I was a pathetic freak and a woman-beater. I didn't care what she thought as long as she left. She got to her feet and walked out the door. I started pacing back and forth in the kitchen. I was so excited I couldn't sit still. I wondered what Margie would say if she knew what a traitorous bitch her sister had turned out to be. I never would have guessed if I hadn't witnessed the whole fiasco. I was furious. I had calmed down, but I was still pacing the room when the bell rang again. I felt my anger begin to build again as I headed for the door. Judy had forgotten to pick up Margie's things and had probably gone back to get them. I jerked the door open and saw Margie. Judy just told me you kicked her out of the house. I sent her to get my stuff and you threw her out? Is that what happened? Margie asked, but with less anger than I expected. It wasn't like that. Well, I kicked her out, I admitted, but she got to that point on her own. It wasn't quite like that. Instinct was making itself known again. I had learned from experience that I could never speak ill of Margie to any of my relatives. She was fiercely loyal to her family. She could berate and complain about her relatives, but if I agreed with her remarks even a little bit, I would get harassed. I tried to think of a reason to ask Judy to leave without revealing the vile names she called Margie. I was having a hard time with that. Margie, she said something I didn't like, and I'm losing control of myself. This whole thing has been hard on me, and I am under a lot of stress. I thought it would be best if she left before I said or did something I would regret, I replied weakly. Margie seemed so beautiful to me. Her clothes weren't new and her eyes seemed dark, but she was a stunning woman. I tried to swallow the lump that kept getting stuck in my throat as I waited for her to lower the arrow on me. Seeing her again was painful for me. Did she call me a whore, Jim? Did she call me a whore? Margie demanded. Did she tell you she'd sleep with you and give you great sex? Did she tell you she had better breasts than me? Margie, I don't remember exactly what was said, I lied. Probably something like that. I remember the whole conversation very vaguely because I was so upset. That's funny. Judy was able to recount to me word for word what you said about me, Margie said. She said you told her I had class and that I was the perfect wife for 22 years. You told her I was a perfect wife and lover. You told her I was great with a career, kids, and a home. You said all that about me, didn't you? Well, is that so bad? I meant all those things too. I don't care no matter how much you try to convince me otherwise, Margie. You've been a wonderful wife, far better than I could have hoped for years ago when I asked you to marry me. You only stumbled once. It was only once, wasn't it? I asked, practically begging Margie to tell me it only happened once. Yes, it happened once, but that's too many times. I've been doing a lot of thinking and talking to Judy since I left yesterday. I did a nasty thing to you, Jim. That's something I'll never accept or justify. Almost as bad as that, I took away your right to decide what you want to do about my cheating. I'm the one who screwed up and tried to determine for myself what the punishment should be. That wasn't fair, Jim. I realize that. I don't expect you to forgive me. I can't forgive myself. I want you to tell me what you want to do about my stupid, unacceptable actions. It's up to you, Jim. What do you want me to do? What do you want to do to me? Margie asked, with tears rolling down her cheeks. Now that's more like it. I am the husband in this house, and I will decide what punishment to mete out. I want you to take off your skirt and lie on my lap, I announced. I will decide what to do with your cheating ass, as you called it. What did you say? You want me to take off my skirt and lie on your lap? She repeated. When I was a kid, I always preferred the usual butt spanking to a series of awkward conversations about how my actions disappointed my parents and how I upset them. As I got older, I received more and more lectures and less physical punishment. I realized that when the spankings were over, the debt was paid. This was much easier to deal with than the guilt and embarrassment of psychological punishment that had no official end. It just continued until the misbehavior was forgotten. Margie wasn't going to forget her misbehavior, so I decided to get it over with and move on. Margie didn't need me to explain to her what she had done wrong. She didn't need the weight of her act hanging over her head for the rest of our days together. It may seem cruel, but I thought it was the kindest way to undo what she had done. She needed me to forgive her and somehow demonstrate that I did. Throughout our marriage, I never once even came close to hitting Margie, no matter how angry she made me. Another lesson I'd learned as a child was that men never hit women. The difference, I reasoned to myself, was that I wasn't angry. Therapeutically, it was better than the alternatives. "You just said it was my choice, Margie," I replied, taking the belt out of my pants and holding it out for her to see. "You will be punished for your actions, as you should be. This is not an angry reaction. This is a corrective measure, and you have a choice. You can accept your whipping as an unfaithful wife should, or you can walk away and we can get the divorce you feel is necessary." "You mean you want to burn my hide as punishment for my indiscretion? And once you've done that, you'll love me again and leave me?" Margie asked incredulously. "That's exactly what I mean, except that I never stopped loving you, Margie. If you come here and take your medicine, I'll show you how much I love you," I promised. That night, Margie was a veritable firecracker in bed. She hugged me, cried on me, promised me boundless love and devotion. She rubbed her sweet breasts against my chest and my face. Of course, she had to be on top, but in a few days, she would be able to support my weight again. We were both looking forward to it.